Welcome to African Odyssey, where African stories resonate, inspire, and awaken. Prepare to listen, feel, and grow. In the heart of a vast African savanna, surrounded by mountains and golden grasslands, lay the village of Mbale. It was a land full of rhythms, colors, and laughter. Amina, a 14-year-old girl, lived there at the time. Joyful, curious, and courageous, she often sat by the river, watching the fish dance in the water, dreaming of one day becoming a doctor. Her father, a wise storyteller, would tell her, "Amina, the world is full of storms, but within you burns a fire that never goes out." But no one in Mbale could predict the storm that was coming. One night, the village drums quieted. The stars hid behind the smoke. Shouts replaced the chants. Rebels, armed and merciless, appeared like shadows. They surrounded the village. The houses burned. People fled. Amina, her parents, and her little sister Zalika were torn from their home like animals. Her father tried to protect them, but he was beaten. The rebel leader, a man known as Bakery, with a cold gaze and a scar on his face, looked at Amina and said, "She's mine now." Her world collapsed in a matter of moments. Her father was killed for resisting. Her mother and sister were murdered, and Amina kidnapped. Days turned into weeks. She was trapped in a rebel camp deep in the forest. She was no longer a child. She was a prisoner of horror. But she never stopped praying. In the silence of her soul, she whispered, "My God, if I survive this, I will never be silent again." One night, during a violent storm, while the rebels were drunk, Amina seized her chance. She picked up a stone. Silent, swift, determined, she escaped, running barefoot through the mud, brambles, and darkness, guided only by the stars her father had taught her to read. A few days later, she collapsed near a distant village, starving and trembling. A farmer found her and took her to a healer. For weeks, she remained mute. But when she finally spoke, her first words were, "I want to fight." The villagers listened to her story. Some wept. Others remembered their own pain. Together they trained. Amina led them, not out of fear, but with determination. She became a symbol. They called her Malkia Wamoto, the Queen of Fire. When her army was ready, she returned. The road was long, and many wanted her to wait. But Amina looked at them and said, "If we continue to wait, there will be no one left to save." They struck at dawn. Surprise was their weapon. The rebels were strong, but not ready to face the fire Amina had brought. The very field where her family had been murdered became the place where justice arose. Bakery tried to flee, but Amina faced him. "You took everything from me," she said, "but I took back my soul." He was arrested. The rebellion collapsed. Amina didn't stop at victory. She rebuilt Mbale, this time with schools, clean water, and peace. She gave homes to orphans. She told her story not to arouse pity, but to awaken strength in others. Years later, the people raised her up as their leader, not only because she had fought, but because she loved her people enough to heal. One day they asked her, "How did you survive all this?" She smiled and replied, "Because I believe that even in ashes, a flame can be reborn." Final moral message. Resilience can transform pain into purpose. Faith can guide us through the darkest forests. Discipline transforms the wounded into warriors. Amina's story is not fiction. It reflects the strength found in the forgotten corners of the world. And it reminds us that even when life is shattered, we can always rebuild. You've just heard a story, but remember, the real magic begins when you apply the lesson. Thank you for traveling with me. If this tale touched you, subscribe, share, and most importantly, keep walking on your inner path. See you soon, searching soul.